Happy Victory Monday, Chiefs Kingdom. Before we jump into today's show, I want you to like this video if you're fired up after the win against the Titans. I know it was a bit ugly, it was stressful, but a critical win as the Chiefs improved to 6-2 on the season. So if you're fired up on Victory Monday, go ahead and hit that like button. Welcome into the Chiefs Report. I am your host, Harrison Graham. Appreciate everybody for tuning in here on Overreaction Monday. That's exactly what we're going to do. React a little bit more to last night's win over the Tennessee Titans and get you caught up on the latest Chiefs news and rumors. 5 headlines I want to hit here on today's show, so let's go ahead and jump on into it. Should the Chiefs give running back Ronald Jones a look? I think it's an interesting conversation because the Chiefs running backs are not getting it done right now. And I get it. Tennessee's a tough matchup. That front is nasty. It's a really, really tough group to go up against running the football and to just block in general. As we saw, Patrick Mahomes was running around a lot, and this O-line was getting beat more often than not. But this right here just isn't going to cut it. 12 carries for 14 yards for the trio of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Isiah Pacheco, and Jerick McKinnon. I don't care who you're going up against. That just can't be the case. I mean, you got to find a few runs. How many times last night was it 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1? You're like, you got to throw the ball. Can't run it. I mean, you tried a fullback dive with Michael Burton, you got stuffed. You tried one with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he got about a foot and barely got the first down. They could not move the ball at all running the football, and Andy Reid said they didn't trade or cut Ronald Jones for a reason. There could be an opportunity for him to play at some point. He's been inactive for all 8 of the Chiefs' games, but this is a guy who, when they signed him, we were like, this is the guy that's going to push CEH for the starting role, and obviously he didn't have a great camp, but he had a good final preseason game, snuck onto the roster, and at this point, I would give Ronald Jones a look. Now, obviously, you got to figure out who you're making inactive for that to be the case, or you have to have 4 running backs active. I'm not making Jerick McKinnon inactive because he's your best pass catcher out of the backfield. I don't think I'm making Isiah Pacheco a healthy scratch because he's your kick returner. Now, you could put Kadarius Toney or McCole Hardman back there, but I still would like to have Pacheco active. Does that mean you have to inactivate your first-round pick, Clyde Edwards-Helaire? If that's the case, I might try it for a week to see if Ronald Jones can give you a spark, because as great as Patrick Mahomes is, having some semblance of balance makes a huge difference in the National Football League, and Patrick Mahomes had no balance last night. He had to put the team on his back, which we're about to outline. Grade the Chiefs running backs, A, B, C, D, or F. Grade them right now, how they've been playing as of late. I can't give it more than a D, man. It's been ugly. I mean, they just have not been able to run the football. Drop your votes down in the comments. And that brings us to point number 2. Is Patrick Mahomes the front runner for MVP? Should he win it this year? I mean, it certainly got a long way to go, but right now, I think he's the MVP, and the Vegas odds agree. He's a slight favorite over Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts right now. He's thrown for over 400 yards in each of the past 2 weeks against stout defenses, by the way, in San Francisco and Tennessee. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow lingering a little further down here, but Patrick Mahomes this year through 8 games is completing 75.4% of his passes, 2,605 yards, 21 touchdowns against 6 picks, and a QB rating of over 103. I think he's the MVP right now. Look at what he did last night against Tennessee. He accounted for 485 of the 499 yards against the Titans. Yeah, obviously the receivers caught a lot of those, but this team had no semblance of a running game. He led the team in rushing, by the way, with 63 rushing yards and a touchdown, including a 3rd and 17 conversion and a touchdown run, plus a 2-point conversion to tie this game up. I mean, he literally put the team on his back last night to grind out a win over a game Tennessee squad. I think he's the MVP right now. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out the rest of the year. What do you guys think? Should Mahomes win MVP? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Get your votes in down in the comment section of this video. Now, today's show is sponsored by Established Titles, as Established Titles is a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts. It is a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or or lairds or lords and ladies in English. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Eddleston, Scotland, and an official certificate with the crest. We plant a tree with every order and work with global charities One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to support global reforestation efforts. You could officially include the title of Lord or Lady on your credit card, plane tickets, dating profiles, etc. It makes for a great last-minute gift. First 200 people, by the way, who purchase a title pack using my link, establishedtitles.com/chat and promo code chat, will be within a few minutes of walking distance. That is where your plot will be next to mine. Depending on how many of you want to become a lord or lady, we can build our own Chiefs Report Kingdom. It makes for an amazing last-minute gift. Established Titles is actually running a massive early Black Friday sale right now with discounts up to 80% off. Plus, if you use the code chat, you get an additional 10% off. Go to establishedtitles.com/chat and use promo code chat to save an additional 10% off this holiday season and help support the channel. I'm Lord Harrison Graham. We've got Lord Trizzy Trace producing today, and you can become a lord or lady as well with Established Titles. Let's keep it rolling here on Overreaction Monday. Kadarius Toney, he made his debut, so we'll talk about him just a little bit here as we got to see him for the first time in a Chiefs uniform. 2 targets early on in the game, had 2 catches for 12 yards. They clearly scripted a couple of easy completions to him. Only played 9 snaps, not a super big surprise. Coming over from the Giants, he hasn't played in a while. Still learning the playbook, obviously. Andy Reid himself said, we'll have a couple plays for him, but don't expect to see him a ton. I don't think he'll have a big role early on here. I think he'll really have a big role, obviously 2023 and beyond. I do think as the season goes on, he could get a little bit more involved. But with Mecole Hardman playing really, really well right now, I don't think they're going to start taking a lot of snaps from him. They can ease Toney into this, which is very, very nice. But it's another weapon at their disposal. He's got speed, and I agree with what Patrick Mahomes said, by the way. He's a little bigger than you think. I mean, he gets out there and you're like, wow, he's a little, he's 6 feet. He's a little jacked as well. He's certainly bigger than Hardman. So it's exciting to see what he could potentially do. But keep the expectations kind of at bay right now. They're not going to force him into heavy action at this point in time. They're going to certainly ease him up to the plate in this wide receiver room. Now, subscribe to the channel if you love the Chiefs, if you're a member of Chiefs Kingdom, because we're publishing videos every single day. We're going live for just about every single Chiefs game as well. We're almost at 33,600 subscribers. Help us get there today by hitting that subscribe button, and more videos will be coming your way here on the Chiefs Report. Are we concerned, or should we be concerned about Harrison Butker? Are there concerns for the Chiefs kicker, as he almost cost the Chiefs last night? I mean, it took a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to force overtime. That was after Butker missed a field goal and an extra point on Sunday Night Football. And by the way, the field goal wasn't a very long one. It was like 40 yards, I think, or something. You look at his season right now, 5 for 8 on field goals, not a great percentage. He's 1 for 3 on field goals between 30 and 49 yards. That's not very good. Does have a long of 62. We know about his strong leg, but missed an extra point last night too. I wouldn't say I'm worried, because this has been one of the most consistent kickers over the past, a half decade or so, but it is something to watch. I mean, the kicks aren't going as straight as they normally do. He hooked one last night, and then he pushed one as well. It was just off, man. He just didn't look like himself, and there's been a couple of those kicks this year where you're just like, he usually makes that one. He didn't make it. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. I'm not worried about it, but if it gets to the point where it costs you a game, then it's like, okay, that is something to be concerned about, because that could impact where this team ends up in the AFC playoff picture. Speaking of, the Bills lose, which means the number 1 seed very much in reach for Kansas City. It still would have been even if the Bills had lost yesterday, but obviously with the Bills winning the head-to-head matchup, that certainly helps them losing to the Jets. Shout out to Robert Saleh and the boys up there for taking down the Bills. Now you're tied win-loss-wise. Now the Bills have the tiebreaker. That's why they're first in the AFC. Jets and Dolphins a half game back right now at 6-3. Who would have thought that, especially with the Jets coming into the year? We'll see what Baltimore does on Monday Night Football. They're sitting at 5-3. A win tonight would push them to 6-3 as well. That's why last night's win, even though it was ugly, even though it was choppy, even though it at times was not fun to watch, it was critical. Because, by the way, had Tennessee won, they would have been 6-2 on the season. You look at the overall AFC playoff picture. This is based on the seeding because obviously the Jets can't be the 3 seed with being in the AFC East as well. They are actually the 5 seed right now. But your division leaders, Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore, and Tennessee, those are the top 4 seeds. Jets and Dolphins at 6 and 3, and then Chargers at 5 and 3. You also have, like I said earlier, the Ravens at 5 and 3, Cincinnati at 5 and 4. So are the Patriots, and then it's kind of a drop off. You kind of have 9 teams competing for 7 playoff spots. I don't expect the Colts, Browns, Broncos, Raiders, or Steelers. Maybe the Browns if they can hang around and get Deshaun Watson back, but we'll have to wait and see on that front. Now, I think it's going to come down to these 2 teams for the number 1 seed. So what do you think? Who's going to get that top seed come playoff time? Type KC for Kansas City, type BUF for Buffalo. We'll see. The Chiefs got to finish a game ahead because they lost the head-to-head matchup, but should be a fun race during the second half of the season. Reminder to subscribe to the channel. We'll have you guys covered all season long, and as we get closer to the playoffs, we'll certainly do some playoff picture scenario videos, how the Chiefs can clinch the division, the number 1 seed, all that stuff. So be subscribed and don't miss any of our coverage here on the Chiefs Report.